So one of the things that has come across my desk of questions is, does the 10,000 hour rule apply to soccer? Now, you're going to get an interesting answer, probably the most interesting you've ever had to this question, because as it happens, my family work in the production world. They're Emmy award-winning producers and directors. And when I was playing in Sweden, I was watching a lot of Netflix in order to learn the language. And I watched this movie called 10,000 timmar, which translates to 10,000 hours. And I was watching this movie, and it was very popular in Sweden. It was about a 35-year-old gentleman in Sweden who hates his job, wins the lottery, reads Malcolm Gladwell's book where he mentions the concept 10,000 hours, and decides to quit his job and try and become a professional soccer player. So I watched this movie. It was adorable. I said to my parents, hey, I think this movie should be remade in the United States. And we went about purchasing the rights of the film, and we're currently, I wouldn't call it in production because we're not in production. We've got a writer rewriting the script a little bit to make it a little bit more Americanized. In Sweden, the ending is basically go for your dreams, but you're probably not going to make it, which of course doesn't really work in America. So we're rewriting the script, but it draws this question, does this 10,000 hours rule apply to soccer? Now, first you should know, if you read the book, it's a guesstimate. He didn't do Malcolm Gladwell goes around asking experts, how many hours do you suspect have you spent to become a master? And the average number came out to about 10,000. It wasn't like it was a study done over 20 years and they figured 10,000 hours on the dot is mastery level. It's a guesstimation or an estimation. So that's the first thing. Second, in soccer, there's a lot of different factors. In golf, say 10,000 hours, you can spend 10,000 hours playing golf. Other than the competitive part, just playing golf, and you'll have covered probably 90% of the game, right? You'll learn the swings, chip it, putting, everything else, and whether or not you have other people to play with is irrelevant. Now, replicating the ability to compete against other people, that pressure, that may take 10,000 hours or many hours as well, but you can do that with a friend or with a buddy. That's not necessarily that difficult. However, in soccer, replicating 10,000 hours of kicking a soccer ball on your own is not gonna cut it. That will not make you a professional. Make you really good at street soccer, and it will make you really good at your technical ability. I don't know if you've seen F2, but I mean, those guys definitely spend 10,000 hours. Their technical ability is to the level of the best soccer players in the world. Now, why are they not the best soccer players in the world? It's a question that will bamboozle all of us, because technically they are remarkable, insanely amazing, and better technically than professionals. But also, what is that missing piece? And so that's where I would say this 10,000 hours concept can be quite difficult to confirm that it works as on its own, because the 10,000 hours, just kicking a ball 10,000 hours won't make you a pro. There are the moments you have to make decisions. There are so many factors that play a role in this 10,000 hours. Now, if you were to say to me, if you played 10,000 hours of soccer games, I would believe, yes, that would make you a pro. However, you would have to play at better levels every time you could. So like in the La Masia, the academy in Barcelona, you know, those kids play at a certain level at a very young age, then the next level that's better, and so on and so forth. If you play 10,000 hours at a relatively low level, you're probably not going to become a pro. You'd have to constantly go to the next level. But I would argue if you play 10,000 hours of games with other people at a very competitive level, that yes, you could become a pro. I'd be really surprised if you couldn't, as a matter of fact, especially if you grew up in a place like Europe or abroad, where you're playing with very competitive people, with very competent coaches at a very young age, and you were playing all the time. Then yes, I think the 10,000 hour rule could definitely apply. Now, how are you going to take this to your own practice? You could say to me, I can feel you through the camera saying, well, I don't have people to play with every day. How am I going to get to 10,000 hours? In which case, you should practice on your own, and you should practice with other people as much as you can. But you should know that if you want to improve, nothing will help you improve more so than playing with other players. Yes, individual work is important, but if you had to choose one or the other, if you could only have one, playing with other people is always better 100% of the time. So the 10,000 hours rule does work. It does make sense. Like I said, it's a bit of anecdotal evidence. However, if you can play 10,000 hours with other people who are consistently better than you or at the same level, hopefully better than you, over years and years and years, then yes, you'll become a pro. I did the math for mine, and at this point, I'm 28 now, I hit my 10,000 hours around 22, if I'm guesstimated those hours, and I signed my pro contract at 21. So it varies. I think also in soccer, unlike in tennis and golf, those are the best two examples I can give, that a large part of it depends on other skill sets, your athletic ability, perhaps your height. Luckily, unlike football or basketball or even baseball, soccer uses a lot of the brain. Those sports use the brain too, but if you're not super tall, you can still be a fantastic soccer player because you can have the brain that really compensates. So 10,000 hours of playing with other people at a higher level than you, yes, that can make you a pro. 10,000 hours of practicing on your own, no, you need to play with other people. Thanks so much for listening. Love it if you like it and subscribe. That would be huge to me. I'd like to keep doing these Talking Thursdays.